Elemental Shaman Mythic Plus Guide. Hey guys, Petko here. For the past 6 years, I've been doing Mythic Plus guides for Elemental Shaman, and this year around, since you guys have requested it, as always, right before the season opens, I'm going to make sure to cover every single important point when it comes down to Ele. If you are an experienced player, if you're just about to roll Elemental Shaman, this video will cover absolutely everything from rotation to crafting, secondary stats, talents, and how to play, and dummies, this, blah, 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 blah. I got you. Stay for the next 10 minutes, and you don't need any other video to watch. Alright, so when it comes down to talents, you are going to be forced to play Stormbringer build. Now, there are several variations when it comes down to talents. Obviously, you can play, for example, the standard. This is the standard build that I use. Now, you can remove those 2 points and use power of the Maelstrom or Infusion Elements for better single target. But the difference between both builds is negligible. So whichever you'd like to play, go for it. It doesn't really matter at this point. Now, again, some people prefer more AoE or prefer more single target, doesn't really matter. Unfortunately, I've tried to cook up a Farseer build. Doesn't matter which Farseer build you are playing, you will be behind. So you can play it if that's more fun for you, because Farseer plays more, fire build kind of orientated playstyle because of the Purging Flames talent. But for the most of you, this will be your staple bread and butter, disregarding whether you're playing 10, 20s, and 15 keys and whatever. That's about it. Now, when it comes down to secondary stats, I know a lot of you now gonna ask me, hey Petko, I've seen a lot of videos, a lot of articles, people talking about like, having high crit, high haste, verse. I'm gonna give you my 2 cents, okay? First of all, don't look at my enchants. I haven't done enchanting and gemming yet. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'm just chilling right now. When it comes down to secondary stats, the most important thing is to make sure to get, first of all, item level early on, because that's what's going to give you the most upgrades, whether it's going to be primary stat plus stamina, and also more secondary stats. But mastery is the first thing you want to max out. Now, what I mean by max out mastery, right now I have 600 mastery with my Elemental Shaman buff. I'm going to be aiming for pretty much twice that, at least. Until I get twice that mastery, or at least as close to twice that, I'm not going to touch any other stat. As soon as I get to, I'm going to try to play haste crit. Now, haste is important because having high mastery means you're going to get more overloads. More overloads mean you're going to be getting more damage. And in general, more maelstrom, more spenders, more damage. Kind of like a, chain reaction. Having high haste means you're going to be able to have more APM, more globals, and faster damage bursts. Having high crit means you're going to have higher spikes, because once again, chain lightnings and earthquakes will do more damage with you. There is going to be a point where you're going to be swapping off haste and in favor of crit. My best regard here would be once you get to the point where your gear is actually pretty high, sim your secondary stats to know at what point you want to swap haste to crit, or vice versa. Versatility, I would say it's less important than haste and crit. However, do not follow my secondary stats, because I'm going to be playing more verse than crit personally when Mythic Plus starts, because of the survivability. Okay, I'm going to be trying to push those, rank 1 keys the first couple weeks, and I'll be shifting some gear away from crit to verse just purely to live, okay? I'm just saying this before you follow me blindly in my secondary stats. That's about it. When it comes down to trinkets, unfortunately, your best trinkets are going to be from the raid. There are several variations, but assuming you're watching this video before Mythic Plus comes, Mythic Plus is going to come in like 8 days from now, give or take 8.5 days. What I'm going to be grinding is this trinket immediately. This trinket is from the Winterland Spire. It's something that you're going to be aiming to get ASAP. You'll be doing Mythic Zeros, Mythic Plus around that one to get it as soon as possible, because that syncs well with your Ascendance, and your Ascendance every 2 minutes, which again gives you pretty much kind of a minor PI during Ascendance, and everybody knows that's going to give you the biggest damage. Passive trinket wise, I mean, every other trinket from dungeons passively kind of sucks. Doesn't really matter what you're gonna go for. Most of the raid trinkets are gonna be superior either way. But once again, I would assume you don't have the luxury to choose, the trinkets you're gonna be getting, because early on you play with what you have. This is your best trinket to have on you. However, I know a lot of you might not get it early on, but if you do get your hands on it, it is extremely powerful one, because it gives you mastery, and more mastery is just gonna do insane damage. That's about it. Okay. Now, when it comes down to embellishment, this is going to be a big question mark, because I've seen everybody talk about different things. Here are my 2 cents. I haven't spent my sparks yet. As you can see, I've got my 3 sparks. I'm gonna get the next spark tomorrow. I'm gonna be holding my sparks until after Heroic Week. After Heroic Week, I will decide what to craft. Now, there are several variations what you can craft. The first and the most popular one, for the people that do not mythic raid ever, you're gonna be crafting stuff. If you're not mythic raiding, I think stuff craft is gonna be pretty good, because assuming you can clear at least plus 10 keys mythic plus the next handful of days / weeks, you're gonna be able to max craft your stuff to, I think, 286 max craft, right? With Gilded Crest, which obviously is gonna be a rather substantial buff to you. Now, most of the people are gonna be crafting the leather working set, which is I'm gonna show it in a bit. 1 second. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Yeah, this is the leather working set of what people refer to. I think it's like a belt plus boots combo that is really good to craft on. That's another option. I will personally likely gonna go there because I will be mythic raiding, and the first boss on mythic difficulty drops both weapon and a shield. As you can see, it drops a mace with intellect and drops also a shield. So I'm gonna be trying my best to get my hands on those 2 bad boys, and if I could get it, then I'll be crafting belt plus boots combo, and that's about it. I mean, again, at this point, I'm pretty split. I haven't made my mind absolutely what I'll craft, but it's gonna be one of those. I'm gonna craft a staff just so I will be getting myself more primary stat, because that means just more damage, or I'm gonna be crafting boot plus belt. Doesn't really matter what you're gonna go for. I feel like at this point the difference is dependent on what you're gonna be getting from the heroic raid or normal raid. And if you don't raid at all, then maybe weapon is gonna be a better choice for you. Again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you what my intuition is telling me and what I will personally do. You can be your own man and decide if you want to follow my advice or not. So that's pretty much about gear, optimization, talents, etc. Now, for the most important part and why you are here in the channel. How to play El Shaman. Beginner 101. Pay attention. I'm going to describe it in less than 5 minutes. First, AoE. What do you consider AoE? Anything more than 4 targets. Whether you're fighting 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 30, your rotation does not change. I'm going to read you one talent here. It is called Infernal Arc. Now, a lot of people are confused. Why the fuck are we playing Voltic Blaze? And the only reason why you're playing Voltic Blaze is because if you have Flame Shock on targets that you attack, whether it's going to be from Tempest and Chain Lightnings and Earthquakes, you are going to do more damage with them. Right? As you can see, you can read it again. You will do more damage with them. Okay? Simple as it is. So imagine that you, for example, if you have Ascendance ready, you don't have to press Voltic Blaze because you don't have Purging Flame, right? So if you have Ascendance ready, you just press your Ascendance, you press your cooldowns, and you want to try to make sure to cast Earthquake as you spender. That's it. You want to make sure to tap target your Tempest to apply Lightning Rod on different targets. And from here onwards, it's just Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, and Earthquake. And obviously, you maintain Voltic Blaze to make sure every single target has Flame Shock. You don't have to press it on cooldown. Personally, I'm never going to press it on cooldown. I'm just going to make sure my guys have all the time Flame Shock available. That's pretty much it. You don't cast Level Surge in like more than 4 targets. You don't cast anything else. You don't cast Lightning Bolt. It's just Chain Lightning, and that's pretty much all you do. Okay? Simple as it is. Your cooldowns should be synced together with your unused trinket. Preferably you have this bad boy here. If you don't have it, then that's fine. Anything else you have on unused, you can send it. And it doesn't really matter at what point you pop your potion, preferably at the very start. The only thing you want to pay attention is making sure to tap target different targets with Lightning Rod. Your Earthquake automatically spreads Lightning Rod different targets, even if your primary target has Lightning Rod. But if you use Tempest on the same target, you're going to reapply Lightning Rod instead of spreading it. Now, there are different scenarios, for example, of when you don't want to be spreading Lightning Rod. It's when you have a prior target. So let's say, imagine this is like 5 targets, and this guy is like, I don't know, like a beefier mini boss that has twice the HP of anything else. You're going to be focusing just this guy with like, Tempest, and that's pretty much it. Tempest is your pretty much prior target damage, okay? That's how you should be treating it. Now, there are a few differences when it comes down to 3 targets. So if you are fighting 3 targets, which most of the time you won't be fighting, and it's very rare if you are fighting 3 targets, but imagine you are, I still don't cast Lava Burst on 3 targets because you don't play Master of the Elements here. I still don't cast Lava Burst. I maintain Voltic Blaze, obviously, as much as I can, because once again, Voltic Blaze gives you Flame Choke on targets plus Inferno Arc. And I will be using Elemental Blast. On 3 targets, I will not be using Earthquake. I repeat again for the 10th time, you do not Earthquake on 3 targets. You instead you press Ele Blast. Because Ele Blast, even though it might do slightly less damage than Earthquake overall, it gives you secondary stats. As you can read here, because Season 1 usually have less secondary stats than other seasons, you'll be getting either Mastery, Haste, or Crit, which right now is going to be rather beneficial to you. Okay, that is the only reason that you're pressing this. That's about it. On a pure single target, obviously the rotation is as follows. Imagine you're fighting a boss here. You pretty much maintain Flame Shock once again all the time. Flame Shock is something you don't really want to fuck around with. Lightning Bolt on cooldown. Now there are different speculations whether you want to be casting Lava Burst, for example, or not casting Lava Burst. My take is I will be casting Lava Surge as soon as I get the proc. I personally wouldn't be hard casting Lava Burst here because I'm not playing Master of the Elements. If I was playing Master of the Elements, I'm going to be casting Lava Burst on cooldown just because I can empower my next cast of Lightning Bolt. But because I am not, I'm going to be casting Lava Surge to move left and right. And if I have it, obviously. And outside of this, I'm only going to be Lightning Bolting here, right? So Lava Burst in general, in my opinion, is something that I'll be once again using quite often, especially when it comes down to movement, because you're going to be moving all the time. But I would preferably focus on Lightning Bolts more. Okay? More Lightning Bolts, more pump. That's pretty much it. All right, and finally, about 2 targets. Now, there's been a lot of disagreement within the community of LAs about how to play 2 targets. And generally, I'm going to show you the 2 ways possible. The difference between them is minor, so... generally, you want to actually do your single target rotation 2 targets, right? That means you want a Lightning Bolt in 2 targets instead of Chain Lightning. Now, I've tried during beta both. I've tried to Lightning Bolt all the time with 2 targets, and I've also tried Chain Lightning. And once again, the difference is pretty negligible. Sometimes I'll get better results with Lightning Bolt, sometimes with Chain Lightning, you know. So I would say if you really want to min-max the shit, Lightning Bolt. So pretty much maintain Flame Shock on 2 targets, right? Because you're gonna cast Voting Blaze. You wanna Lightning Bolt, spend your Elemental Blast on 2 different targets to maintain your Lightning Rod passive, and that's about it. That's all you gotta do. And once you fight 3+ targets, then you just Chain Lightning over Lightning Bolt, and 1-2 targets, just Lightning Bolt. Even after the buffs that are gonna come on Chain Lightning, you still Lightning Bolt, right? Yeah, also Lightning Bolt generates more Maelstrom, which is kind of funny, if I gotta be honest with you. Perhaps they should look at buffing the Maelstrom generation for Chain Lightning on once you fight like less than 3 targets. That can be rather beneficial. That's all. Today, we only care about Mythic Plus. And that's everything you have to know about Shaman, how to play in Mplus. You have covered everything. We've covered the AoE, we've covered the single target, we've covered 3 targets, 2 targets. We've covered pretty much everything that needs to be understood, and as well as secondary stats and talents and, you know, yada yada yada. Yeah, so let me know if that guys was useful and you guys learned something. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And once again, I am opening the coaching for LA Shaman officially starting today this season, because once again we posted back in September last year, and because we're getting close to the season, I am re-enabling. I'm gonna make announcements as well. But until then, thank you for watching. Much love. And I'll see you in Mythic Plus in 8 days from now. Bye, lads.